Hey, let's go. On our play for this week, Astro Bot, the little robot that has even Mario taking notice. Hmm. PlayStation is kicking off its 30th anniversary in an interesting way with a big tease for their Pro. Black Myth WuKong ain't over with us with 2 DLCs rumored. Get excited. Astrobot impressions after all this, all that and more on Season 8, Episode 36 of Press X Start Gamers Digest. What's up, everyone? I'm your host, DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices, aka man. If I was able to, I'd get an Astrobot tattoo on my back. Upper back or lower back? We'll figure
You
that
gonna get an Astro tramp stamp?
out. When you press it says Astro. I am joined by.
Sean MF Ross.
What does the M and F stand for?
If I could be an Astrobot, what kind of Astrobot would I be?
Great question. Great question. All right. Now you know who we are. Actually, you know what? Comment below if you can decide what Astrobot Sean should be. All right. Now you know who we are. This is Press X Start Gamers Digest, a video podcast that connects the most important gaming news from this past week into an hour-long meal just for you. We're live on YouTube every Sunday. We made it today because today's Sunday. Congratulations to us. Yes, we made it every Sunday when we can make it because life is hard.
But listening to us is easy.
Also, staying on track is hard for me for some reason. Don't forget, you can support us by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hit the notification bell. So please do those things. If you are listening, we greatly appreciate you leaving us a review on whatever podcast service you're currently tuned in on. Thank you. And if you want, you can join our conversation by joining our Discord at pressx2start.com/Discord. With that out the way, let us jump into the gaming news with number 1. Astrobot review roundup. It's not really a roundup because everyone's pretty much saying the same stuff, which is this game is great. And we have been playing it, and we'll have our impressions at the end of the podcast. So yes, with Opencritic, it is sitting at a 95. It is now considered the highest rated game of the year, dethroning Final Fantasy. I almost want to say 14 for some reason. Yeah, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. And then on Metacritc, it's sitting at 94, also considered the highest rated game of this year, dethroning again Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth.
Man, what did Infinite Wealth get?
I think it was in the 90s, or at least for Opencritic. That's the one I usually jump to. Yeah, I think it was.
Okay. I'm reading. I'm looking. I'm curious.
Yeah.
What?
So yeah, Astrobot is tracking super well. There was a lot of chatter about whether or not the game was going to score well and if that was going to have a positive effect with, how many people buy this game, because it is very much so a classic platformer that we really don't see on the PlayStation platform.
Infinite Wealth got a 90. And
Okay.
Rebirth got a 93. And Balatro got a 91. But anyway, go ahead.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I knew Blatcho was good, but I didn't realize it was like tracking there. That's crazy. So yeah, like Astrobot, again, we've been playing it. We're gonna have more impressions at the end where we get in our what we've been playing section. And this is kind of not really surprising because Astrobot or Astro's VR thing, the first Astrobot, that was a great game. Yeah. And Playroom 2 was a great game as well. And even though that was like a tech demo, but like everyone just loved it so much and wished that Astro would have come back in a real way like this. Right. So yeah, it's really cool to see that this game is doing so well and it's literally beloved by pretty much everyone. From what I have been listening to and hearing, there really hasn't been too many like negatives about this game, which amounts to the score that it's getting. So yeah,
surprisingly or not surprisingly, it's in the top 10 of all games this generation on Opencritic.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
First is Super Mario Odyssey, then Breath of the Wild, Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, Red Dead Redemption 2, GTA 4, Elden Ring, and then Astrobot, and then God of War, and then Last of Us Remastered. Those are the top 10. That's high praise.
That's crazy. Like, that's so crazy. So yeah, like yeah, again, props to Team Asobi, props to Astro Bot, because this game is just a real delight. So yeah, we'll jump. It's a bit more Astro Bot news, but number 2, Astro Bot director wanted to fill a gap missing since PlayStation Studios went from making cartoon games to mature, hyper-realistic games. This comes to us from Games Radar Plus from Khan Surin. Yeah, like, yes, absolutely. So I'm just going to read into the article a bit. Astro Bot developer Team Asobi wanted to fill a gap in PlayStation's portfolio that went missing when some of its studios pivoted to mature, hyper-realistic games. So Team Asobi just released its largest. I'm just going to skip all that. Interview with VGC studio president Nicolas Deschet explains that as the audience of PlayStation grew, a lot of these PlayStation studios went from making cartoon games to a bit more mature, hyper-realistic games. Naughty Dog is an example of this, going from Jack and Daxter, Crash Bandicoot to The Uncharted and The Last of Us. As well as Sucker Punch going from Sly Cooper to Ghost of Tsushima, and Insomniac went from Spiral the Dragon to Marvel Spider-Man. And it is a thing of the old gamers like us, I guess, is a way to define as, like, we remember those times of those the mascot platformers, and just, how fun those games were. And we definitely felt that switch from the fun aspect to now we have to tell a, like, super compelling story. It has to look a certain way. Like, these games have to just move and look a certain way in terms of being a third person.
I think it was also a byproduct of trying to get the game industry taken seriously as an art form by releasing quote unquote high art games with crazy graphical fidelity and heartfelt stories. But
you're absolutely right.
Some of them lose the fun and all that. And this game still looks amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay. My the stream that I'm tracking was, like, back, so it looked like we weren't live. So
yeah,
that's fine. We're good. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like, you're absolutely right in terms of, like, this is just it's so funny to just see how things just kind of loop back on itself, and just be like, oh, everybody likes Astro Bot because it's something that harkens back to the times when games was really, really fun, and Astro Bot is really, really fun.
Yeah, everything didn't have to be, well, as you're about to get into the next story, the next sub-story.
Yes. Yeah, actually, good transition. This also comes from Games Radar Plus. As Astro Bot emerges as a 2024 Game of the Year frontrunner, its director says 12 to 15 hours of condensed fun beats 40 hours with parts you feel like skipping. That is a title, boy.
I mean, it's true. It reminds me of WuKong, where there's some levels where I'm like, all right, now this is a lot. This doesn't need to be like the damn, what was it, the third chapter with the tower? Like, come on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I get you. I totally feel you on that. So yeah, this article comes to us by way of Jordan Gerblick. Yeah, so Astro Bot director, again, Nicolas Deschet, says that he'd rather play a short burst of pure fun than spend dozens of hours playing a game that has parts you'd rather skip. Which, very true.
Oh man, you know what even comes to mind? Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I mean, and again, like that, like the Ubisoft game is the direct opposite of, like, a game like Astro Bot, where it's just like, no, we want these Ubisoft games to be like giant checklist things that you sit and you spend hours and hours and hours in.
Well,
hopefully,
I mean,
to spend
people want
money
to
on
feel like
story.
they're getting their money's worth. So easy way for developers to feel like they're doing that is just to pad the game with hours. If you're charging, smiles per hour, or fun per hour, whatever.
Yeah, and it is definitely a thing of, like, when there's always a fear, and I think there was a big fear with Astro Bot in terms of, oh, the game, I guess, is fun, but it doesn't look like a game that I would, quote unquote, play, as some gamers might think. And
I
that could
literally saw somebody in a the Melanated Gamers Facebook
Yeah.
group where somebody's
Say
like,
that.
this game don't look like my style, and I'm like, you'd be surprised.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's another problem with the current industry in terms of streamlining a lot of, or I guess streamlining the lack of creativity in these
Mhm.
games and making almost the same looking game to appeal to the same kind of
They're
gamer
hitting
to kind of pull
checkboxes
them.
instead of hitting fun checkboxes. Let me see.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did you? I don't think you put it in here. Okay, so like off a tangent, 60
Hmm.
people made this game,
Yes.
and they actually played the current build every 2 weeks to see how the game was feeling. Was it fun? Everybody had input on the game.
Yeah.
This is a short, tight, condensed game, like they said, versus something like I think they were issuing a patch for the Star Wars Outlaws game.
Hmm.
I
Oh
don't think
yes.
we
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
episode
Yeah.
right
I
here.
didn't. Yeah.
Where they have instant fail stealth missions, and I think they just check for functionality rather than seeing if it's actually fun to play and engaging. Like
Yeah.
they're 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 literally just checking checkboxes. Sure, people will love this. It's Star Wars. They'll take whatever we give them. It's the first open world Star Wars game.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
teams of 500 to 1,000 to 3,000 people working on Call of Duty. They don't need to be that massive. You don't need there. You're getting diminishing returns at this point, and look at Square Enix selling 1 million, 2 million plus games and saying that didn't hit their sales expectations. Like stuff like that is crazy.
Yeah.
I think the sharks have seen the money in the gaming industry, and they're throwing more money at it, thinking that that's the solution, and it ain't.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. Like that has been literally the plague of the industry right now in terms of the whole idea of diminishing returns, in terms of we are going to throw a bunch of people a bunch of money at this IP and make this like the biggest prettiest game we can. And when they do that, oftentimes the slider that gets tweaked a lot is the fun aspect, because
Yeah.
you're having to hit these other check boxes to make sure, for example, Star Wars, it's lore accurate. Make sure that these characters are in other characters. Like you can't really. I think one of the articles I read about Star Wars is that they had to make sure that anything they added into the world, the like I guess the activities you're doing,
Yeah.
has been like seen or I guess explained in like one of the previous Star Wars stories or whatever. So they really couldn't just add whatever they wanted to that world. They had to make sure that it was again hitting, not really hitting a checkbox, but like making sure that okay, this thing has been covered in some like aspect of Star Wars.
Before you have
And
the super nerds calling your game out and tanking your sales.
exactly. Yeah, man. So like it again, it's one of those things where it's just like I I love the idea that Astro Bot is doing so well with their mentality of like, nah, man, we're about fun. Like this has literally been Nintendo's
Adage.
mission statement forever, and they do so well, and their games always sell, and it's just because they understand that at the end of the day, they're making something that is supposed to be enjoyed. Like,
I would say
yeah,
their equivalent of Mario Odyssey or is that the last one that just came out? Wonder?
Wonder. I mean, yeah, Wonder was the 2D one.
But Wonder is 2D. Yeah, I
Yeah,
would say this is their equivalent of Odyssey or Galaxy or whatever. This is just
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Odyssey was the last 3D Mario, but yeah, this is definitely like PlayStation's Mario Odyssey. And again, it's awesome. And then we have another little quick hit in terms of this comes from Ben Starr's Twitter.
Twitter. Yeah.
He is the new voice of Astrobot. I did not know this.
Yeah, he just confirmed it recently. Doesn't say that in there. I don't know who he is. I don't know what he worked on.
Well, sir,
But
you'd be
for
glad to
those who
know
do
that
follow that. Yeah.
Ben Starr was actually the voice of Clive in Final Fantasy 16. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like he actually because he's a big gamer, but he like blew up after Final Fantasy 16 in terms of like going on the scene and being interviewed by a bunch of people. He was in Kind of Funny. Like they really love him. He loves them. Like, yeah, I've seen a lot of him.
Okay.
So
Oh,
yeah.
he was in A Way Out.
Oh,
What the heck is Arknights? I don't know what the hell that is. He was in the new Warframe. I don't think that's out yet. 1999 expansion.
no, it's not out yet. No. What?
Yeah.
I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. And he's gonna be in
Yeah.
something else that he was mentioning. I totally forgot what game it was, but yeah, he's still definitely still in the industry working. All right. The last bit of news from this section is number 3. Actually, I don't know why I said that because there's a ton more news. Number 3, rumor: Black Myth WuKong could have 2 DLCs on the way. This comes to us from Game Rant by way of Dominique Bosnek.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I tried my best. You know what it is. While Sean saves the day again.
Nah, I can't do any worse. I couldn't do any
Yeah,
better.
right.
That is
Hey man.
a name with a I don't know.
There's an accent mark in there, you know. I just say my public school education can only get me so far. You know what I mean?
This child was left behind.
Right? I was too busy drawing. All right. So Black Myth WuKong is currently planned to receive 2 pieces of DLC. A known leaker has said this claim was shared as part of a more comprehensive info dump that also potentially revealed the code name for Black Myth WuKong sequel. And if you're wondering if Black Myth WuKong is going to get a sequel, it absolutely is going to get a sequel. This game continues to make so much money. I think the last thing I saw was like $650 million or something like that. I could be wrong. It could be $65 million, but I think there was 0 there. But yeah, this game is just making just so much money. So yeah. Um, so yeah, the DLC. So Game Science is now supposedly looking to follow up on this massively successful release with multiple Black Myth WuKong DLC packs. That's according to Twitter user Ignis the Wise, also known as Lunatic Ignis. Those are cool names. Who previously leaked a number of accurate details about the ARPG. According to their most recent shared insights, the Chinese developer is currently planned to release 2 DLCs for its hit game. While the leaker didn't provide a specific timeline for or when these extra contents is supposedly planned to hit the market, they did claim that both DLC packs would debut before the next entry in the franchises, which yeah, that's obvious. So yeah, I think we might have talked off cast about this, how
Mhm.
like this game is like 6 chapters long, but it was supposed to be 13 chapters.
Good God.
Yeah. So there was content that was just kind of left on the drawing board. And it's very
I
possible that
will
that
say
stuff.
that's amazing because I think a good 100 or so people made this game. Under 150, I know that
Yeah.
much. That's insane for 4 years of work. What kind of I mean, I made that joke, but that's
You're wrong
amazing
again. I'm
what they were
sorry.
able to do with that time versus some other studios with thousands more.
Yeah, man.
It
Yeah.
makes me wonder what's ruining those games other than management, I guess, and
Management
investors.
and really just vision. It's like because the thing is like Journey to West is something that us people in the US we get glimpses of, but
Yeah.
that is a story that is constantly retold like time and time and time again over there. So that is basically a blueprint for them to work on, and it's really hard to
They
like
have a lot of mythology, and we do not have a lot
yeah,
of.
and it's something they can play with. It's like the way we use like Greek mythology. It's like
Yeah.
that's a strong blueprint, and we know how we can play off of it and things we can do with it, and it's sort of the same thing for them.
What we got over here? Paul Bunyan? Let's make a Paul Bunyan game.
Right?
Because
That blue ox.
yeah. Who pulled the thing? Was it John Henry?
I don't know. I don't know.
Who
I don't
bust
know.
through the rock? What,
Like the rock and the sword and the rock, the sword and the stone.
Oh, God
No,
damn it. Yeah, it was
no.
John Henry.
Was it John Henry?
Yeah, he was supposed to be beating the machine, the tunnel digging machine that was gonna lay railroad tracks. Get up
Oh.
on your history, man. Get up on
Oh,
your, you
no,
know.
I remember. It's just there's so many John Henrys in my life that I just don't, I can't pick the one.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
next story.
Let's make a Harriet Tubman game and
That's what I'm
free
talking
some
about.
slaves with Kendrick. Go ahead.
Make a Harriet Tubman game by Hideo Kojima. make it like Metal Gear Solid 5.
That's not a bad idea. As much backlash.
Nah, he can make it work. He has enough trust. He's invited to all the black cookouts. It's
I'm gonna
safe
leave it
in his
alone.
hands.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right. So yes, before we jump into PlayStation celebrating their 30 years of PlayStation in a very interesting and like kind of cool way. Hey, you subscribe to the channel, please. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Comment below, let us know. Are you gonna play Astro Bot? Like, are you getting this game, or are you one of those people like, it's not for me? And if you are one of those people, just figure yourself out and just buy the game. You'll have a great
What
time.
should we do for our 10-year anniversary? Tell us that.
Hey, yes, Astro Bot tattoo, maybe.
Hmm.
All right, number 4. Celebrating 30 years of PlayStation, my first GT, digital soundtracks, Shapes of Play collection, and there's more to come. This comes to us from PlayStation Blog. So I'm not going to read through all this because it's kind of a lot of stuff, but they're essentially kicking off the 30th anniversary with one Astro Bot as it being a release, and that game essentially being a celebration of PlayStation's history, PlayStation games. Beyond that, they are going to have this thing called My First GT, which is a free trial designed to attract diverse players of all skill levels to the globally acclaimed Gran Turismo 7. This upcoming release will include some of the favorite cars, tracks, and race events that invoke the nostalgia and excitement of the very first GT experience. Cool. That's going to come to PS4 and PS5 this holiday. They're going to be releasing digital soundtracks or digital game soundtracks. So we're going to get God of War 2, God of War Ghost of Sparta, Twisted Metal, Starhawk, Unit 13. I don't know what Unit 13 is, but hopefully those songs are bangers. I don't know. Next up, they're going to be releasing these Shapes of Play, which it's really just like little like stress balls. It's like little like fiddly toys that you can play with. And
well, it's a few different things. They have Shapes to Play Create, which is magnetic blocks. Those are basically magnetic blocks to make things shapes. Recharge, those are the ones that look like stress balls. I may get that. I don't know. Put it in my desk or something. And then they have Shapes to Play Battle, which is a board game. And let me see. Challenge a friend to line up 4 different shapes of the same color on the board to win. We'll see how that goes.
I feel like that's a similar game. I don't know what game though.
Connect 4 battleship type. I don't know.
Yeah. Or like a old like Go. Is it Go? I don't know.
Oh, the Japanese game Go.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all cool. And then
Othello.
Isn't that a no, that's like a Shakespeare play, right? Othello?
Reversi. What is it? Reversi. Othello is a variant. Yes, it is also a play, but there's an Othello game also called Reversi. I'm not crazy. I'll fight you.
All right, the last thing is that it's gonna be free online multiplayer weekend and esports tournaments. So that is gonna include FC 24, 2K25, and Modern Warfare 3. So cool, I guess. Yeah. Oh no, there's actually gonna be other tournaments. It's like Tekken 8's included, Guilty Gear Strive. There's Madden.
Did you get Tekken 8?
I always have to buy Tekken 8, no matter if I don't play it or not.
So you're gonna enter the tournament? You gonna show them what you're made
absolutely of? Absolutely not. No, no.
Come on, man.
Like, get this man out of here. Go back to playing Astro Bot. So yeah, that's all cool, but there was a tease that happened within this whole 30 years or 30th anniversary that a lot of people didn't pick up on, but then a couple people picked up on it, and then everyone saw it, and everyone was like, "Oh, you're pretty sly, PlayStation." A PS5 Pro design may have been secretly revealed in PlayStation's 30th anniversary image. This comes to us from IGN by way of Michael Kripp. So in the actual, I guess, title or banner graphic for the PlayStation Blog's 30th anniversary, they show, what is it? The PlayStation logo, 30th anniversary. And then in the background, there is a bunch of icons that make the shape of a triangle, circle, X, and square. And people notice by looking at those icons, they're all PlayStation themed icons. And there is one PlayStation themed icon that people could not put their finger on because it's a new icon. And that icon is literally in the very center of the center of the image. Hi, I'm a graphic designer. So real quick, people are saying like, oh, was that done on accident? And it's just like, no, these graphics are often improved by like a couple levels of like checks and sign-offs before it's released. So something like that with a high profile thing being like the PS5 Pro, this was intentional. And its placement, the fact that it's in the very middle of the image itself, also intentional, meaning that it is really hard to miss. So the actual icon is of the PlayStation 5 Pro. And the difference between it and the other icons is that on the very right side of the graphic, you can see that there's a PlayStation 5 Slim, and that has the one line across, like going from left to right, like a slash. The PS5 Pro has 3 of those lines. And last week we had talked about there was a leak of what the PS5 Pro looked like, and those leaks lined up with this graphic. So it essentially is PlayStation confirming that the PS5 Pro is real, and it does have the 3 lines going across. So more than likely, it's going.
Talking about it, we're also allegedly going to get a state of play sometime this month.
Yes,
so we may see the full reveal.
Yes,
in a week or two.
Yeah, I definitely think that PlayStation is secretly making September their like 30th anniversary month kind of thing, because I think we get Astro Bot. Astro Bot's happening this week. I think we get Plucky Squire next week. Yeah, and I think the following week is when the rumored state of play is supposed to be. So I think they're just kind of lining this stuff up, but not like explicitly saying like these are the things that are happening.
September 17th for Plucky Squire.
Okay. Oh, then that might be. I think that's the same week as the rumored state of play, or maybe the state of play might happen the following week. I don't know, but we'll see.
I'm surprised I think the actual free on PlayStation Plus. I wonder if it's going to be on Game Pass as well.
I would imagine that if they're signing a deal for PlayStation Plus, it's probably not going to be also on Game Pass for right at the same time as on PlayStation Plus. But yeah, so like it's really cool. Like, I mean, like, shout out to them for really showing that they still have this capability of like teasing stuff and playing around with us and like actually like, not being so super serious all the time. But then again, number 5, Sony is taking Concord offline on September 6th before all this whole celebration stuff happened.
Get back in the closet.
Right? Oh, man. Your important brothers are coming out. Go. So, yeah. Yeah, Sony is taking Concord offline on September 6th after disastrous launch. This comes to us from The Verge. By way of Tom Warren. So if you have been living under a rock or don't have access to internet for last week, Concord has been a cluster fire of just
was
terrible.
Brought out to the shed.
Yeah, essentially. Like, yeah. So Concord released. It didn't do well on Steam numbers. I was always of the mind of like, okay, well, PC is one side, but we still need to know what the PlayStation side looks like to know, like, okay, this is actually a failure. And guess what? This is actually a failure. There was a rumor that it made maybe just $1 million. And then PlayStation came out on their blog post, or came out with a blog post saying that essentially they're going to shut Concord down, and then they're going to reassess the game and figure out what they can do to better communicate, I guess, to the player base, or better, like, basically be more attractive to the player base, which good, because everyone's like, oh, these characters look bad. This game needs to be free to play. And that's pretty much the two big factors that really hampered the attractiveness of this game. So
it's funny that they shut it down. Some people started up a petition on change.org saying, please release Concord again. We were all busy that week.
Which is true, because they released it during Gamescom. So everyone was kind of focused on like Gamescom stuff.
And there were other things releasing. I think Myth WuKong had released literally a few days before. Like,
and I feel like they probably they as in Sony, PlayStation, made a bad bet in going against Black Myth. They probably didn't think that was going to be such a juggernaut of a game, and I think that also kind of just tripped them up. But I mean, there's been a bunch of other trips along the way to get Concord to the place it's got. But yeah, it is now considered offline. They have refunded everyone who bought the game, which they should, because this game is a purely online game, so you essentially can't do nothing with your copy. People have been buying up the physical copies of this game, and I think there was a rumor that someone was trying to like sell the copies for like over $1,000 or something like that. It's one of those things where it's just like, that is purely for like collector bait, I guess, because if this game comes back, it's probably going to come back as free to play. Your old copy of Concord probably just won't work at all, because it'll probably just be a different game when it comes back. So I guess more power to you if you want to spend that money. Also, if you're looking to spend money, just go ahead and buy a Concord controller, go with your game that you can't play. So yeah, quickly, because they released a Concord controller that was.
I didn't know that.
You know what, the controller looked pretty cool. I think the controller looked cool. But again, it goes with the game that you can't play anymore.
Cool.
Yeah, right. So yeah, let us know.
Wow, you know, some people are listing a Concord controller for $300, $500.
Yeah. You know what? Don't let us know about your Concord opinion.
You can still buy it on PlayStation Direct for $85.
Well, because Jesus, $85.
No, I mean, that's how much the Astro Bot junk costs as well. So I mean,
is it $85?
No, it's $80. It's $80.
Oh, okay.
$79.99.
Right. They get you in that penny. So yeah, there goes Concord. And then I just wanted to pair that with this other article of Overwatch 2 has another pricey deal. The once free Oni Genji skin is available to players who spend $75 in the Blizzard Gear shop first. This comes to us from PC Gamer by way of, wait a minute. L Gold? Should Gold?
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not really going to get into that. It's just the fact that like what Concord was trying to do was be a $40 like PvP game that you pay once and you basically get a bunch of stuff for free. They did have a store that they were going to have like extra skins, but a lot of the stuff was going to be unlockable in game. And it's a thing of, well, now we're not going to have that anymore. It's going to go free to play, and it's going to be just like how you have Call of Duty, how you have Overwatch. Do you get skins in Apex? You get skins in Apex, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why
you can buy skins directly. You can craft them. Except for the mythical or legendary stuff, you got to earn kind of.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it would just be like one of that where, you know, a bunch of people have issues with that model, but that model works and the industry speaks. So yeah, that's that. That's pretty much it for Concord until it comes back in whatever new form, or if it does come back, because there's also the idea that this can just be Sony just quietly putting this thing in the ground to be buried. But we'll see. That will be in the future. Number 6. Sony doesn't have enough original IP, says company leadership. This comes to us from PlayStation Lifestyles. Again, it's funny how, we have this and then we have Astro Bot to look at all the old PlayStation icons.
Yeah. I mean, games were cheaper to make back then.
Exactly.
You could throw 100,000, 200,000, 500,000. Game budgets are in the tens of millions now, and they need to. Spider-Man 2 was 250 million, some crazy number like that. Like,
I think so. I think that might have been Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 was like 300. Or no, I think 250 was the last.
Yeah,
but yeah,
the budget for Marvel Spider-Man 2 was 300 million, which is 30 million over the original budget of 270.
Okay.
They needed to sell 7.2 million units to break even. As much as I love Spider-Man, we don't need games that large.
No.
It didn't need to be all of that.
No. I mean, that game has solid play. You can sacrifice the, I guess, graphical fidelity and just keep the gameplay, and that game would do just as well, because even the art style, like, it has a artistic art style to it. So it's just like what's going on with these games?
I'm sure they had a dude just making buildings in there for 40 hours a week. Like, these
but even again, but like, even the whole the engine aspect of it, like, for example, Unreal 5, it has a city generator where you can press a button and it will build a city, and you can just fill out the little details there. So like, there's things to make these games, be built quicker, but it's still taking a long time. It's still taking a lot of energy because they're trying to make these games be super pretty.
I mean, and there's the argument against AI, though.
That's true.
So it's rough. You want to value people's handcrafted work, but they don't need to be that large.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, back to the article. Sony leadership reckons that the company doesn't have enough original IP included in its PlayStation division. The group is making a multi-billion-dollar investment into creating original content in a bid to widen its share of the entertainment industry. And in an interview with the Financial Times, expressed its desire to foster new IP from the beginning. That's great. Just build up these new IPs if that's what your plan is. Thank you, PlayStation, for getting back into your roots and ending the Jim Ryan era of, we need to focus down on like 4 games and make them as AAA as possible. Whether it's for games, films, or anime, we don't have that much IP that we fostered from the beginning. Sony's CFO, Hiroki Totoki, told Financial Times. We're lacking the early phase of IP, and that's an issue for us. Totoki added that Sony as a whole has been better at finding new audiences for existing popular IPs, and thinks that the company won't grow without creating content from scratch for higher returns. Real quick, that is a direct slide at Jim Ryan and his philosophy about PlayStation, because, as I said before, he was about, we have these IPs, we need to make them AAA, and we need to have them geared and focused towards the like mass audience, or the general gaming audience kind of thing. And it was a thing of, that's what led to the gaming budgets blowing up, getting bigger, because they are trying to draw the eyes of these people. And again, by doing that, you have that little slider and you kind of tone down the funness slider of it because you're trying to get everything else up. So yeah, and then Totoki is essentially just saying that, like, we need new IPs that we start from the very start, or from the very bottom, and work them up and make them like bigger IPs.
I'm looking at the old budgets. Crash Bandicoot 1 was about 1.7 million. You probably can't market anything for less than 5 million at this point.
Yeah. And another thing too is that, like, people are pointing back to like the old PlayStation mascots, but they are forgetting the fact that PlayStation didn't own those mascots. Like Crash Bandicoot was not owned by PlayStation. Spyro was not owned by PlayStation. I think they're both with Activision mascots.
Universal
Okay.
funded it.
Yeah. So they're not like PlayStation owned. So like for example, The Last of Us is PlayStation owned. Ghost of Tsushima, PlayStation owned. So Totoki is looking to have PlayStation own these. Like for example, Astro Bot is PlayStation owned. So that is sort of what Totoki, I guess that's what's going to be his approach going forward with with Sony and PlayStation in terms of creating these new IPs and, building them up from scratch, which is good. So real quick, while new IPs is certainly welcome, these comments are a little puzzling when it comes to PlayStation because the company has numerous game franchises that it fostered from the beginning or could have, but they have since been abandoned. Look no further than the featured image above for some hints. Heck, one of the PlayStation's biggest new hits from the PlayStation 4 era, Bloodborne, has pretty much been left to die. And Bloodborne is always a weird thing because it's just like, okay, yeah, PlayStation owns Bloodborne, but it was created by FromSoft and
From software. That was made in conjunction with each other, so Sony doesn't want to have anybody else touch it, but I guess they don't want to fund that right now because From Software is working on other things.
Yeah, FromSoft, if they're going to work on Bloodborne, they're going to make it multi-platform because they want to make as much money as they can. So it's not going to be a thing of like, I don't think PlayStation have
not if Sony is going to fund it. It doesn't matter.
I don't think PlayStation has enough money for himself to say yes to, especially after Elden Ring.
Oh, you saying the price went up?
Yeah. Oh yeah. like that's what I think is happening.
They can have Bluepoint work on a remake or remaster or something at the very least.
And like that's what I think is happening. That's what I think Bluepoint has been working on is a Bloodborne like remaster or something. I think
they're working on their own thing right now.
Yeah, because they saying that they're working on. It was a little fuzzy in terms of their wording with it, and it make it sound like it could be like they're working on an old IP but adding new content to the IP.
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of the things where like I think it's going to be Bloodborne. I could be wrong because they haven't said anything for me to be like, whatever. And then just to continue in this article, meanwhile, games like Until Dawn gets another lease of life in the form of a remake. And we're not quite sure who asked for that, which.
So allegedly they were remaking something for. Is it getting a show or something? A movie?
Is it? Oh, I think it's a movie.
And they're releasing it for the PC, so they just wanted to have it seen in the best light. Same thing as Last of Us Part 1 remastered. So,
okay.
While they say who asked for this, clearly there's a market for it. They have the numbers. It's the same thing with movies and TV shows. All this high artistic, high quality stuff. Nobody goes to see it. They go to see the slop. I think one of the top rated shows on Netflix was some BS that me and you have never probably seen, but the numbers are out there.
Right. Yeah, and then on top of that, like there's a whole tried and true thing that like horror games, horror movies, they always do well because everyone likes being scared. And if they can get that remake out around by October, if they're planning on releasing it this year, that probably do even better. But number 7, Until Dawn remake studio announced the significant layoffs. This comes to us from VGC. Man, oh man. This is by Tom Ivan. So Ballistic Moon remains focused on supporting the launch of the PS5. Oh wait, did it launch already? Am I just okay? In a statement, in a statement, WuKong, UK-based Ballistic Moon said it was making staff cuts to secure the future of the studio, which remains focused on supporting Until Dawn's launch in October. Okay, so it's coming out in October.
Yeah.
So yeah, the studio was founded in 2020 by Duncan Kershaw, Neil. These people. Okay, who all previously worked together at Supermassive Games, the developer behind 2015's Until Dawn for PS4. As the game industry continues to face complex challenges, we at Ballistic Moon are confronted with some difficult realities. The studio said in a statement published on LinkedIn. It is with the deepest regret and heavy heart that we must make the tough decision to significantly scale down our team to secure the future of our studio. This comes after our development of Until Dawn for PS5 and PC. So there's a bunch of other quotes. Pretty much just, they're sorry to have to lay off people. This is interesting because, okay, so it's going to be released October 4th.
The game didn't even do poorly yet, and they're already letting people go.
Yeah, like that is kind of crazy that already they're just like, yeah, we're gonna have to lay off people to like keep the studio going. So I wonder if this is a case of, okay, the game is getting close to release. We have to basically hire a bunch of people to like really push to get this game out.
Yeah.
And then and then now that the game is pretty much done and like pretty much close to release, they're like, okay, we're gonna have to slim down again.
Would they use the language of laid off if it was like a short-term contract job? I wonder.
That's a good question, but I feel like they would, because that's just like a general term.
The contract just ended. You're not laying off anybody.
Yeah, and it's also significant layoffs too. So that's not even like, huh. Well, I guess we'll see what happens in the studio after the game releases. But yeah, it sucks for those people who will have been affected by these layoffs from working on a game that they don't even know if the game is going to be successful or not. They just, yeah.
I see it being successful. Until Dawn and similar games have always been party games. I know I see articles saying that they chose the wrong time to release it, but the audience for Silent Hill 2 and Slitterhead is different than the audience. It's not a huge overlap compared to the audience for like Until Dawn and the Man of Medan. And whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, that is it for the bigger stuff. Now let's jump into the quick hits. Number 8, Balatro Mobile official release date has been given a trailer to us on YouTube. Actually, I can.
Have you watched the trailer?
I did. I didn't really understand too much of the trailer.
Very
I'm about to put the trailer up, but Sean, you love Balatro.
Yeah.
Are you
going to taken a break? Yeah, of course. I've only taken a break for WuKong and Astro Bot and Final Fantasy, like the bigger story-based games. But this is a go-to comfort game. And right now on mobile, I'm playing Peglin, which is like a pachinko roguelike that was announced during the Nintendo Direct, and I was like, "Oh, that looks cool. I kind of like that." But I'm excited for Balatro.
Right. I'm trying to find this trailer. I can't. You know what the trailer?
I mean, it was in the link, DJ.
It was in the link, yes, but I didn't have the link up on my desktop. Okay, look,
DJ's a
I'm bad at this thing. Okay, I'm bad at this thing. But yeah, but like, I did
poker,
say that for
poker, but it's not poker.
Yeah, I did say for me, it was always going to be a thing of like, I like playing my card games on my phone because like I play Marvel Snap even to this day every day. So I definitely will get Balatro once it drops on iOS, and I'll give it a shot because it does look a lot of fun. No, I don't have Apple Card.
Oh, okay, because it is included in the Apple Arcade subscription. You can also purchase it as a one-time thing, but it's included in the Apple Arcade.
Yeah, I'd probably purchase it as a one-time thing because I don't look at the mobile games enough to be like, oh yeah, let me just get the Apple Arcade. So yeah, this is a Balatro trailer that they showed, and it is very interesting. Is the game like this weird? Weird's not even the right, like trippy.
Yes. Well, okay. When you say trippy, the music is off-putting to some people, but other than that, it's just a card game.
Yeah.
You're trying to beat a high score. You have modifiers and other things.
Yeah.
And you will not win it your first time. I'm sure you're familiar with roguelikes. You need to put it a few times to actually fully understand the mechanics and unlock some cards and et cetera, et cetera. But rolling into the next sub story, the Balatro dev, I think his name is Local Thunk. He said, I'm sorry. Because this is gonna tank a lot of people's productivity. This game is very addicting once you get into it. He said, "Productivity be damned."
That is awesome. That is awesome. He said, "Hey, look, man, got to make money somehow, right?"
I'm curious. He can already retire based off of the PC sales and the console sales. I wonder how much money the mobile is gonna sell. Just like he said, I'm sure a lot of people only like to play their card games on mobile.
Oh yeah, yeah. And it's thing of like, does he make another game? Does he have to make another? I mean, he probably doesn't have to.
I mean, he can spend his time and just make another game now, and actually, he don't got to go back to the office. I know that.
That's true. That's true. But yeah, props to him. Like, props to the game. It is again, like we talked about it earlier in the cast, that it's like you said it was
top
like
10 of this year.
Yeah, top 10. Yeah. So it's like that's crazy. Yeah. Okay. So number 9, Capcom's 2 upcoming fighting game collections are heading to Xbox too. These come to us from The Verge. By way of Ash Parish. So essentially, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics and Capcom Fighting Collection 2 are now slated to come to Xbox next year. Both of the trailers for those games, when they dropped, it was very strange that Capcom was like, "Yep, coming to PlayStation, PC, not coming to Xbox," and everyone's just like, "What's happening there?" And then Capcom had to comment on it and said that basically it wasn't going to be able to come to Xbox due to technical issues. And then there was some more reporting going on, and it was determined that the engine that they used for porting didn't support the Xbox like architecture. Yeah, it needed to be updated, and they just haven't spent the money to update it because they didn't need to. They didn't feel like it was worth it. So now Xbox is working with them to get stuff updated to get these collections out on the Xbox, which good. That's what they need to do. Like, there's definitely fighting game fans out there who grew up on Marvel vs. Capcom and would appreciate those games on their console of choice, which happens to be the Xbox. All right. Number 10. This is a quick one. Destiny Rising, the NetEase mobile game, is still in development. This comes to us from Karokasis Twitter. Karokasis is a pretty prominent leaker of information. So in his comments, people are just like, "Oh, is this real? Is this real?" And it's like, yeah, he's pretty solid with his stuff, but when he's talked about stuff. So yeah, again,
you play this, whatever it may be. You gonna try this out?
No,
you Destinied out.
I'm Destinied out. Like, so this is supposed to be Destiny's, I guess, Bungie's crack at a Destiny hero shooter, where you don't make your own character. You pick like a hero and you play as that character. And I believe this is essentially supposed to be like a 3-person team like Destiny, but it's like a PvE kind of thing. Yeah, and again, it's made by NetEase, and the last game NetEase made that put out there was The First Ascendant, and man, that game was grindy as hell, or is grindy as hell. So the hope is that this isn't affected in that same way, and this is actually like a very fun game to like play and level up in. But we won't know until we get it or until we see it, so we don't know. Number 11. This is from the rumor mill. So internal chatter about fair games is very positive. Now, Sean, do you remember fair games?
No, not a thing.
I was hoping you would say no. So fair games is, we saw it last year in PlayStation's showcase, where it is the it is the realistic looking PvPvP, which I'm thinking based off this trailer. Let me actually play the trailer. The PvPvP heist game. I say heist game because I didn't know it was a heist game. So Fair Game was the trailer that talked about eating the rich and how a long time these fat cows have been getting wealthy off of our tax dollars and all this stuff. And then like we as in the main characters, we're gonna go and take the fight to them by like stealing their stuff kind of thing. So this was the game that was also paired with Concord. And it was just like, we don't know what this game is supposed to be. Like, this trailer is very interesting. Hopefully this game is good. So now we're actually getting rumors that the internal chatter about this game is very positive. And I think people are.
I mean, I would imagine the internal chatter for Concord is positive.
Yeah. So people are comparing this with Concord because, of course, you would, because Concord just got shut down. And one of the things to note about this rumor, so this rumor comes from Chris Dring from Games Industry Microcast. I think that's what that is. And it's to note that like he made these comments before the announcement of Concord being shut down. So it's not like trying to do any like damage control or anything like that. It's just like he heard that the internal playtest for the game is actually looking very positive and people are having fun playing this game. To go back to the whole Concord thing, I think the Concord thing is a little strange in that I believe you can look at Concord like Redfall, in that Redfall was purchased or picked up by Microsoft after the acquisition, where Sony purchased Firewalk, I think it's Firewalk, while they were working on Concord. So I think that's the only difference, where like Fair Games was actually built from ground level with the help of PlayStation. And it seems that PlayStation is actually going to be like really, I'm just going to read the quote. I've heard good things about Jade Raymond's game. It is Fair Games. I've heard good things about that. So there's a few. I know people who are a bit skeptical about the trailer, but I've heard internal chatter. It is very positive. No, it's very positive about it. Man, this guy needs a spell check. So there are these other projects that I can assume that the ones that they're focusing on are the ones that they're going to go for. They're going to put out there, and they're going to support. Oh my god, I don't know why I read that. That was a mess. Okay, so basically what is being said from this is that PlayStation, Sony is going to focus on these live service games versus what happened with, I guess, what's happening with Concord. And you could tell that they didn't put any effort behind Concord's release, because there is literally, they just kind of put the game out there, didn't even put a blog post out there or whatever. Go. Yeah, essentially. So yeah. Shout out to that. We'll see Fair Games whenever it shows up, hopefully, I guess next year. I don't know. So yeah, that is it for the news. Now let's jump into what we've been playing. Sean, you've been playing a bunch of stuff. Tell us, what have you been playing?
So, I'm still playing WuKong. Not finished with it. I had to take a break to play Astro Bot. But before I talk about Astro Bot, I tried Black Ops 6 open beta. I just realized I saw somebody mention that it was open beta this weekend, and I completely forgot.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I forgot after I played it, because I don't think I'll be picking this up at launch for once.
Oh, really?
I will wait until there's a sale. I am not pressed to get my ass whooped by people who play this like it's a job. Like, everybody used to tease people, like, you do this shit like you get paid for it. Like, no, people get paid for it. My wife sat there and watched me play multiplayer a little bit, and I was getting slaughtered. I got a few kills here or there, but I mean, like, this, they need separate lobbies for people with 8-hour 9 to 5 jobs, or like, there needs to be something separate from skill-based matchmaking system where like people who play 5 to 6 plus hours a day versus people who play, over or under. They need separate lobbies for that because you know, every nook and cranny of the map, you know, the meta, you know, this, you know, that it's not as fun as it used to be. And going back to Astro Bot, which is just a blast to play this realistic thing. Now I gotta learn how to dolphin dive while doing a 360 double Yurchenko pike. Like, nah, man, it's not fun.
Yeah, man. It is a thing of Call of Duty is in a very interesting place where it is a giant, massive game, but there are like a number because it's so popular. There's a number of people who put a lot of hours in that game and they get really good in that game. And it is a weird thing of how do you balance the skill sets of the lobbies that you're being put in, and it's just like you are right, like there should be a some kind of variable in their whole matchmaking system where it's just like how much do you play this game, you play this game a lot, okay, we're going to put you in this lobby, and then people who play under those hours, we're going to put you in these lobbies, and it's like I feel like that would be a very, very easy way of making the experience a bit more balanced. Of course, the tryhards are going to be mad because their lobby is going to be more sweaty. But yeah, that's what it should be.
You
Like,
should play against.
yeah, you're playing other people of your
Go,
caliber.
You don't
yeah
put people who just bought Street Fighter in a Evo competition and expect everybody to have fun. Like, I understand at this point, more than enough people play the game to where you're not going to be searching for a lobby, you know, forever. I mean, this is why Apex and like Fortnite have limited lobby selections to make sure there's enough people to fill it out.
Yeah.
There doesn't need to be umpteen modes, but I mean, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. No, it is a thing of like if there's a game that could do this kind of like separation of like time-based skill or whatever, it is Call of Duty because Call of Duty is such a juggernaut title. And
like, at least test it out.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like I go back to the whole discussion of like, oh, skill-based matchmaking is like the issue of the game or whatever, and they're like, all right, well, we're gonna take it off and see what happens, and then when you take it off, it's like it doesn't. It's just like, oh no, like people just have these same problems, and it's like it's just the fact that everyone comes to Call of Duty with a different mindset. Like some people are coming in like, okay, I'm about to rule this lobby. I'm about to just like pull out all the tricks or whatever because I want to highlight reel. And some people are just like, yeah, I just want to have fun. Like I got this cool gun. I just want to shoot the gun.
Hunt Junior division. I'm not trying to go as hard as it like I used to.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
They need a similar thing to what Apex has a bot lobby now. Where if you're really good at the game, there's no real challenge. But I mean, it's fun to just go around there and you know,
just shoot computers.
Yeah,
like, you know.
I mean, like I just, I don't know. It is what it is.
And I knocked my earbud out. Yeah, man, it sucks. It's annoying, but yeah. So what else have you been?
Black Myth WuKong. I think I'm on the 4th. I'm just taking my time. I think I want to. Do you have to play it again to platinum it?
I have no idea. I don't think so though. Because there's no difficulty options.
I want to say you do because you have to gather some items and they're rare and you have to get it through multiple playthroughs or something like that.
Oh,
but I'm working through that.
Okay.
But as we were talking earlier, Astro Bot and all its greatness. I'm getting old now. I tried to stay up until midnight to play it, and I fell asleep at like 10:54 or some shit like that. Like I was dog tired, but I was able to get home and play it the next day, and it's amazing.
Yes,
the industry needs more small team focused, pure fun games like this that aren't, as they said, a 40-hour romps. It's okay. As long as I enjoyed my time in the game, it doesn't need to be 30, 40 hours. I don't know how long this is, but it's fun just playing through this game. And as I said in other places, I don't know if I said it here, but just trying to recognize all the little Astro Bot cameos that they have in there. And Going through it, I realized I recognize almost 90% of what I've come across so far. They have a lot of iconic PlayStation properties and guest stars and titles. Or I just played that much of a. You know what it is? I think back then we weren't spoiled for choice like we are now. So you were able to play a little bit of everything and finish each game, and you're able to
I mean,
recognize.
those games just wasn't as long either. Like the games that were really long back then were the Final Fantasy games, whereas the
Any
RPGs, and
RPGs,
it's
yeah.
just like, yeah,
If
and
you
it's
wanted a
we just
specifically long game, you could play a RPG. Now everything is an RPG, damn near.
yeah.
I don't know. Your thoughts on it so far?
Yeah, man, I am absolutely loving this game. It is a thing of playing it and just smiling every time I'm like finding one of the little bots and just like, oh, just trying to figure out where it's from. And it's just like same here. Like I've been hitting probably like around 90% of just like all the bots that I'm finding. I'm like, oh, I know where this is from, I know where that's from. And it's just like it's so cool to be able to look back at PlayStation history. And I'm also trying to get London like kind of involved in it as I'm playing.
Yeah.
So like there would be like some fights or like a boss fight, I'd pull her over, like, hey, look, check this out, kind of thing, get her like, excited about this stuff.
Mm.
So it's been a lot of fun. Like there's been a conversation about, oh, the game is too easy. And it's like,
I wouldn't say that.
it's not like there's definitely
It's
levels
it's
that
not meant to be Wukong.
exactly. Like there are levels that are challenging and that will require
Yeah.
you to like figure out and like, solve the puzzle essentially, like get through the level. And there's other levels where it's just like, no, you're just here to have a fun time. Like you're here to
This
get
is,
through it,
as we
explore.
quoted earlier, this is Mario. Mario isn't too difficult. It has a little bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
If you want a real, I don't. It has this little secret world thing and little one-offs that have more challenge. Like I think there's one where like the blob keeps on spitting goo at you or fire. Them things have like pinpoint accuracy almost. So I mean,
Hmm.
the challenge is there if you want to go find it.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it's just like this game is so great. Like it's one of the things where it's like, okay, well, would I recommend this to a person who stopped playing games in like the PS2 era? Absolutely. Would I
Mm,
recommend this person who didn't grow up on PlayStation games? Yeah, absolutely. Because I
still fun.
think, yeah, the game is still fun by itself, and it's also a way of getting you kind of thinking about those old games and thinking like, oh, what is that from? And then like you look at the clues or you just look up the characters online and you can figure out where they come from, and that can get you like further invested in the old PlayStation games. And I think a good portion of these games you could probably, well, I guess not well, maybe the Crash Bandicoot and Spyro games. You can get off the like PlayStation Classics store or whatever, the premium level. I don't know. It's a lot of games. So I can't even be like, yeah, you can get all of them there. But I think overall, this is a solid title. Like I am at the end of chapter 2. I think there are what 5 or 6, like I guess I'm at the end of area 2, and there's like 6 areas, maybe 5 or 6 areas. And the whole game is essentially just a collectathon where you are collecting these astrobots. You come back to your home world and you slowly build up the area that you're currently like in. And on top of that, you are collecting these coins, and you can go back to your home world and spend those coins on like a gotcha. And for every astrobot character you have, there is a secondary item that works with them or that plays with them. So
Yeah.
for example, like Solid Snake. Yeah, Solid Snake is in this game. I think you get the box or something, the crate that goes over his head, or the wooden box that goes over his head. No, cardboard box. Jesus, that goes over his head. So yeah, it's a really fun. It's a good time. If you are on the fence about getting this game, get the game. Get the game. You will not be disappointed. I'll
My
let you hit it.
literal only gripe about the game is I wish I could control the camera speed. That's it.
Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah, same here. When it comes to negatives, I don't have many negatives, and you know how like picky I could be about my games. And like it's a thing of I wish I could move the camera over Astrobot's head and kind of do like kind of a top down thing and like keep the camera there, but it will slowly default to like behind Astrobot. And like that's really the only issue I have with this game. Everything else has just been so
Maybe they
polished.
can add a photo mode or
I think there
tell
is a
you
photo
what.
you have to unlock it.
Oh, true, true. There might be. Okay, it might not be
Yeah.
far enough. And then maybe just tell us specifically which game some of them are from because I don't recognize all of them. That's it.
Yeah.
But this game
Yeah.
deserves the scores that it's gotten received.
Absolutely. So yeah, you unlock the photo mode the same time you unlock Safari Park at the crash
Oh,
site.
okay. Okay,
So yeah,
okay. That's
it
I'm
would be
on the
nice if
third world, so maybe that's the next
okay.
one.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be nice if that was unlocked immediately because there's been a bunch of times where like, oh, I want to take a picture of this. I want to take a picture of that. And that's another thing too. Before we end this, is like I feel like this game does a great job of rewarding you for your explorations. Like if you
Mhm.
sit here and take time and like really dig into stuff, you're gonna find something. You're gonna find an Astrobot. You're gonna find like a little like cool little area thing or like some kind of interaction that's like cute or cool. And I think just that is so impressive when you look at the scope of the team, how much time it took to make this game, and like just how big and you know visually impressive this game is. So
Yeah.
shout out to them. Like Team Asobi, like really just made like one of the best games of this year.
I
One of the
wait for
best
the
games of this generation.
yeah. Hopefully, as we teased last time, hopefully there is a sequel according to the trophy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the only thing we are waiting on is that whole like PlayStation thing of like, oh, this game sold X million copies or whatever,
Yeah.
and like, oh, this is tracking well, kind of thing. But we probably won't see that until next month with the Sarcana report. So yeah,
Mhm.
when we get that, we'll definitely track it. But
Hopefully,
yeah,
with the next game, they don't throw 500 more people at it and 10 more $1 million and be like, "What? Why didn't this sell 30
right,
million
yeah,
copies? I don't understand."
yeah,
Um, I mean, if they take their time, I'd be fine if they wait till PS6 to launch something. They can treat this like Mario Nintendo treats Mario and we get one every system or, one or two every system
yeah. I
generation.
I didn't put it on the docket, but there is already rumors that there's supposed to be DLC coming to this, and they've kind of hinted at like some of the stuff. The only thing I'll say is that apparently like characters from like Stellar Blade is supposed to be in the DLC.
Yeah,
So
people have been talking about
yeah,
that.
yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
What seem like that gonna look like?
Yeah. But yeah, that is it. The game is great. Like I haven't beat the game, but already it's a 10 out of 10. Like easy, easy. But yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right. This has been another episode of Press X Start Gamers Digest. We hope you enjoyed this episode and must enjoy making it. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Let us know how you are enjoying your time in Astrobot. Let us know how you are enjoying your time with whatever game console you have. And if you're having a good time, please, I hope you are. Until the next time, take care, be safe, keep playing video games, and we'll see you next
time. Like all I want to do is play Astro Bot right now. It's very rare that a game just gets you like, I just want to do this thing.
For sure, man. Like it is such a good game.
The sound for him